again. Gosh, it's almost afternoon, but Saturday is here again. This is Jessica. I hope you've all had a great week. We've kind of been struggling with colds around here. I'm sure I'm not the only one. But today I just want to share and talk a little bit about what I've been learning about our free wills as people, about the free will that God has given us. And there's two really cool concepts that I've learned about, like free will and grace, and also living in the present moment, that I want to share. But I would say that I'm the kind of person who in the past would focus on either the past, for sure, of like, this happened to me, like I'm living in the past because I haven't been freed from whatever, holding me down, like this happened to me, this was super unfair, like a lot of all the things that come up in your mind that you can think about. Or living in the future of like saying, I'm not where I want to be, and I'm not getting to where I want to be fast enough, like being super impatient to like get to the future, to have my kids be older, to have that house that I really want to have, to be the person I want to be. Like, so living in the past or the future has kept me from living in the present moment, and therefore when I don't live in the present moment, I'm not paying attention to the present. I'm sure you've heard of like the present as a gift, right? A gift present. And it's like, but I've also learned this week that God's grace is only available to us in the present moment. If we are preoccupied with the past and things that have happened to us, like there's no grace for us there, because it's over. I mean, Jesus has forgiven that. Like whatever we've done, whatever we've experienced, like that is over in the past. We can't change that, right? It can become a compass to help us create a better future for ourselves, but it's over. Like we can't change it, right? And then in the future, so there's a point to where we're dreaming and we want to get to the next summit of our lives, which is a beautiful concept, right? But when you have that only at your mind, on your mind of like, I want to get there, and you're not focusing on like the present moment, like there's no grace that's present in the future, if that makes sense. So when we focus on grace in the present moment, it's like that this is where God allows us to have that grace of like to live right now in this moment, the kind of life He's called us to live. And yes, we should use our past as a compass. And yes, we should use our future as a way to get to the next summit, to the next virtue, the next, better version of myself. And the other thing that I want to talk about grace and just free will, so kind of bringing the free will back into here, is the fact that we really can't receive grace until we will that we get to receive grace. Like we have the choice. We can say, no, God, I don't want your grace. Or we can say, yes, Lord, I would love your grace. Please give me grace. And like will it, because He's given us that free will to access that grace in the present moment. Like there's just something so beautiful about that. Like he could push He'd push His grace upon us and be like, here, you need my grace today. You need it, take it. But like, that's just not who God is. Like He's a God of very gentle, and like He respects our free wills, right? And so when we get to the point where we need grace, like don't be afraid to ask for it, and don't be afraid to say, I'm open to this. Like I surrender to you, Lord. I want your grace in this moment. Because for me, that's something that has been really difficult, because I just think, oh gosh, I need your grace. But yet something inside of me is like blocking that out. Like I'm not open to it. Or I'm telling myself I don't deserve it. Or I'm telling myself maybe like I want this grace, but you know what? I think I can probably do this by myself. Like I really don't need God's grace in this moment. I can do this myself because I'm strong enough, right? Like we've been told, you're strong, you're beautiful, you're healthy, you're wise. At what point do we look back and say, those could be lies from people who don't really know? And maybe this is completely off like track of what I was supposed to go, but like, if we don't believe those things when we say them, number one, they're not going to resonate with us. And number two, if we're not looking at ourselves through a lens in which Christ looks at us, it's not going to be believed. It's not going to be truth anyway. Like, we need to have the truth of Christ over us, like, and be able to speak that over ourselves and to believe that. Because yes, I can believe and say all the time I'm beautiful, but that doesn't mean that I truly believe it and live it. I'm only beautiful because God sees me as beautiful and I'm God's creation. So anyway, I love the concept of the fact that like, God is always going to respect our free will. He's never going to push himself upon us. He's never going to like force us to accept something, his grace or whatever he thinks that we need. Like, he's going to gently lead us, be that whisper in our ear, be that breath on our neck, whatever we need, like that gentle push. I know this kind of got a little hairy here because I kind of said free will and grace, and we've kind of gone a little far. But here's the deal, like, this is just something that I'm really passionate about now, because I'm really seeing the fruits in my life of allowing God to take my thoughts in the present moment and to turn them into something good, and also to use my free will in a way that is helpful to me and to everyone around me. Like, I have the choice to say, I'm going to focus on God's word today and focus on his truth. I have that choice to choose that rather than to go focus on that TV show I was watching last night that didn't really help me internally. There's no peace in that, right? So like, just taking responsibility for me as a person, for my own thoughts, for my own actions, for the way I treat myself, for the way that I show up, for the way that I, use entertainment or food. Like, it's been such a helpful thing for me to really examine all of those things and then just say, how am I truly showing up here? Like, how am I, and how can I truly use grace in the present moment and use my free will as a free choice to choose the right thing? My kids have a saint quote book, and I want to say it's John Paul II, and one of the quotes in there is, freedom is the ability to choose what is right. So like, we have the freedom because God has given us that free will and he respects it. But like, true freedom is having that ability and then also choosing the right thing to do. And like, that's what's going to set us free, is to have that choice. So just a few thoughts on free will, choosing good and beautiful, pure thoughts. And again, like, choosing grace in the moment, because we have that ability to do that. Have the ability to say, Lord, I want your grace right now and I accept your grace. So just a few things, and I hope you all just have a wonderful grace-filled day, and yeah, stay healthy.